It was a bright, ordinary morning in the small town of Hillcrest. The golden sunlight poured over the sleepy streets as 36-year-old Aaron Miles pushed his old bicycle toward the market, a bag of bread tied to the back seat. His clothes were worn out, his eyes tired, yet they carried the gentle strength of a man who refused to give up. Life had not been kind to Aaron. His wife had died in childbirth 5 years ago, leaving him to raise his little daughter, Ella, all alone. Every day, he worked small jobs painting houses, fixing fences, anything that paid enough to buy food and rent a tiny, crack-wall apartment. That morning, as he rode back home from the bakery, humming softly to himself, something unusual caught his eye on the side of the road. Near the forest edge, by the ditch where wildflowers grew, he saw a figure, a woman, lying motionless. At first, he thought she was asleep, but as he got closer, he froze. Her face was bruised, her clothes torn, and her body trembled faintly. Aaron's heart pounded. He dropped his bicycle and ran toward her. "Miss, can you hear me?" he whispered, kneeling beside her. Her lips were cracked, her hands covered in mud and blood. She tried to speak but only a faint gasp came out. If you believe in kindness, humanity, and second chances, then please take a moment to like this video, share it with others, and subscribe to our channel, Stories of Kindness. Your one click helps spread goodness in a world that truly needs it. Aaron quickly lifted the woman into his arms. She was light, fragile, like a bird with broken wings. He carried her to his bicycle, placed her gently in the small trailer he used for groceries, and pedaled as fast as he could toward his home. His daughter, Ella, was waiting by the window when he arrived. The moment she saw the stranger, her eyes widened in shock. "Daddy, who is she?" she asked, but Aaron only said, "Someone who needs help." Inside their small home, Aaron laid the woman on his bed and fetched a bowl of warm water. He carefully cleaned her wounds, wrapped her arm with a strip of cloth, and offered her water. She winced but managed to drink a few sips. Hours passed. The woman remained silent, drifting in and out of consciousness. By evening, as the sun dipped behind the hills, she finally whispered her name, Nora. Days turned into weeks. Nora stayed in Aaron's home, slowly recovering. She spoke very little, and whenever someone mentioned the past, her eyes filled with fear. Ella, curious and kind-hearted, brought her tea and told her small stories about school and friends. The woman listened, smiled faintly, and sometimes her eyes welled up with tears. Aaron noticed the scars on her arms, the faint marks around her wrists, and he knew someone had hurt her badly. But he never asked questions. He believed that sometimes, silence heals faster than words. Aaron continued working during the day, leaving Nora with Ella. He struggled to manage everything, the bills, the groceries, the medicines, but something deep within him told him that helping this woman was the right thing to do. The neighbors, however, began to gossip. They whispered about how a poor widower shouldn't bring strange women home, and who knows what kind of trouble she's in. Aaron ignored them. He had seen too much pain in life to judge anyone. One evening, rain poured heavily. Thunder echoed over the hills as Aaron fixed the leak in his roof. Suddenly, Nora appeared beside him, holding a lantern. "You shouldn't be up there," she said softly. He looked down, surprised by her concern. For the first time, she seemed calm, her voice steady. That night, as the rain continued, she told him part of her story. She had been married to a man named Victor, a wealthy businessman in the nearby city. To outsiders, he seemed charming, successful, and kind. But behind closed doors, he was cruel. He controlled her every move, kept her locked in their house, and when she tried to leave, he beat her mercilessly. One night, she escaped with nothing but the clothes on her back, running until her legs gave out near the forest, where Aaron had found her. Aaron sat in silence, listening. He felt anger rise inside him, not for her, but for the world that allowed people like Victor to exist. "You're safe now," he said simply, his voice steady. "No one will hurt you here." Over time, Nora began to heal, not just physically, but emotionally. She started helping around the house, cooking, mending clothes, and even planting vegetables with Ella in the small garden behind the house. Laughter returned to the little home for the first time in years. Aaron noticed how Ella looked up to Nora like a mother figure, and he couldn't help but feel grateful. Yet, deep inside, he knew this peace couldn't last forever. One afternoon, while Aaron was at work, a black car pulled up outside his house. Two men in suits stepped out. They knocked on the door, and Nora's heart froze. She recognized one of them, Victor's driver. Fear surged through her veins. "He's found me," she whispered, trembling. She grabbed Ella's hand and hid behind the old wardrobe. The men looked around, questioned a few neighbors, and finally left. But that night, Nora couldn't sleep. She knew running forever wasn't a solution. When Aaron returned home, she told him everything. His face hardened. "If he comes again, I'll go to the police," he said. "You don't have to live in fear anymore." Nora looked at him, tears rolling down her cheeks. "You don't understand, Aaron. He has power, money, connections. The police won't listen." Aaron clenched his fists but said nothing. The next morning, as sunlight streamed through the window, Aaron made a decision. He went to the town's legal aid office and told them everything. The officers were skeptical at first, but when Nora showed them her medical records and the bruises still visible on her arms, they finally agreed to investigate. Within days, news spread about Victor's hidden crimes, illegal dealings, domestic abuse, and blackmail. When the authorities raided his mansion, they found enough evidence to put him behind bars.